everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, September 29th, 2019. Genoa City's worst kept secret is now trickling out. Victor Newman is still alive. I feel sorry for all of these newspaper editors. All of the newspapers in town are going to have to change their headlines from Victor Newman is dead to Victor Newman is alive. He just let everyone think that he was dead. Let his daughter get arrested for his murder. Let the world mourn him. Let his grandchildren mourn him. All as a ruse, so that he could find out if his youngest son, Adam Newman, really loved him or wanted him dead. That is a really long headline that they're going to have to put on there. I don't know how they're going to do it. Oh, this was elaborate. I can't help but think that perhaps a well-timed, really nice greeting card would have helped this father and son work out their issues. Just save everyone the trouble altogether. This whole Victor faking his own death plan was way too elaborate with so little payoff. Honestly, with all of the things that Y&R stretches out these days, where I'm ready to pull my hair out just to get through it, I could have held on for probably another month, letting Victor fake his own death. And instead, it's all over so quickly. He was dead a week ago Friday, and then he was alive on Monday, this past Monday. On Monday, Michael was telling Lauren that he had to do another favor for Adam. Cut to Adam telling Connor that his grandfather has passed away. Cut to Nikki running into the ranch to tell a very much alive Victor Newman that the plan has gone all wrong. Cut to Victoria getting arrested for Victor's murder. It's just all too much. Did Victoria even spend a full night in prison? I don't think so. She was immediately released. She was immediately not even fazed by the whole thing. She barely noticed that she was arrested for her father's murder. Most of the week she just stood there looking blankly off on the sidelines while Victor and Nikki and Nick kept setting traps for Adam. Like he's the road runner and they're Wile E. Coyote. They're over here painting tunnels on rock walls, hoping to catch Adam, and it never works. It's not gonna work. Victoria was way too, blasé about the whole thing. She was more interested in making out with Billy, I think, than worrying about what was going on with Adam. You know, Billy, who was revealed last week to have multiple personality disorder or something, and now this week he's totes fine, totes in on the plan for helping get revenge on Adam, just mess with him. Yeah. I guess at least it's good that Billy got some therapy, but I also can't help feeling like Billy was downplaying the severity of what was going on with him. I mean, it's one thing to feel like you are torn between two different emotions or torn between two different decisions or feelings or thought patterns, but planting your own dead daughter's doll in your own bed and then not remembering that you did it is like a whole nother level of things. Turns out nearly everyone was in on the ruse to trick Adam into thinking that he had killed Victor. Victor was on to the fact that he switched the medications and so came up with this faking his own death plan. And it was all just intended, I guess, to... I don't know. I feel like I don't really understand what the ultimate objective was. Did Victor just want to humiliate Adam? Was Victor just simply trying to teach Adam a lesson and everyone else in the world had to pay the price for it, including the grandchildren? Was Victor hoping that at the end of this, Adam would change his ways, that he would become a reformed man? I mean, Victor seemed to express remorse for what was happening with his son. He wanted his son to be better, to be different, but all the while, Nick and Nikki and Victoria are all hoping that Adam has a downfall as a result of all of this. So what was the plan exactly? Adam, let's say Adam slips up and he confesses to someone that he switched Victor's medication. Well, then what? Did the Newmans just want to rub Adam's nose in it, or were they planning to turn him into the cops? What exactly was the end game? That's where I'm a little bit lost. The motivation just doesn't seem like it's there. But on Friday, Nick invited Adam to attend Victor's funeral. And I thought this was so great. I mean, Nikki and Victor are anxiously waiting at home while Nick delivers the invite, waiting to find out if Adam is actually going to come to this fake funeral. And Victor made this comment about how rare it was that someone was going to get to attend their own funeral and how it was going to be an empty casket. And I thought, ooh, okay, well, this could be really good. This could be a great dramatic conclusion to this whole thing. And I mean, you know, if Adam shows up at Victor's funeral and then Victor reveals himself to be alive, I mean, that would be worth overlooking some of the plot issues that I'm having trouble connecting with. It would just be good, juicy, soapy drama. But then somebody must have tipped Adam off about Victor being alive, because Adam shows up at the ranch at the tail end of Friday's show while Victor's sitting there playing chess with himself. And Adam walks in, looks at Victor, just says, "Well played, Pops. I'm just stopping by to say goodbye before I leave town forever," and then it's done. End of Friday's show. It was kind of interesting to see them come face to face, but I also felt like it was kind of a letdown. I thought there was gonna be more. I was gearing myself up for more. I'm sure we're gonna see an epic mano-y-mano confrontation between Adam and Victor on Monday, and that'll be good. I really like the scenes of Adam and Victor going at it, but I'm also expecting that right as Adam turns around to leave, Paul is going to be standing there right behind him, slapping on a pair of handcuffs. Adam has done a lot of brooding this week, and we finally got those tears that I knew were coming. I knew Adam was going to have an emotional breakdown over this. Adam spends so much time trying to deny his emotions, and finally this week they catch up with him. We saw Adam in agony, dropping to the floor, writhing around in mental anguish. And we also got some really great and relevant flashbacks, which are all very near and dear to my heart, I have to say. Adam was reading this article about Victor's death, and he was inserting his own versions of reality in between the lines, and he was remembering his childhood growing up not knowing that Victor was his real father, and having these very limited, rare interactions with this mystery man, this rich and powerful mystery man who just so happened to share his name. Oh, I loved those flashbacks. Somebody must have had to go and dig around in the archives for all of the perfect moments, and they did it. What a joy. Those flashbacks just take me right back to, just right back to the 90s, the early mid-90s. I loved seeing Hope, too. We don't get to see her all that often, especially not in flashbacks, and especially at that period of time. Hope was such a great classic soap opera lady. I mean, her story was so classic yet tragic at the same time. I know I always have to go on about this because this was my first storyline watching Y&R. But I mean, for a lot of people, Nikki and Victor were their first super couple, but Victor and Hope were my first super couple. I mean, they were the love story, my first love story. And I have to, the whole flashback to little Adam reminded me of how much it had to have ticked Nikki off that Hope had a Victor Jr. and she didn't. I mean, Victor had gone off on his journey, met this woman who ended up getting pregnant with a Victor Jr. I mean, I think Nikki was always jealous of Hope, and I think that on a level, Nikki was always jealous of Adam too. And now here we are. Victor Jr., little Victor Jr., now Adam, is remembering his father's legacy, and he is reflecting on his father's death and his role in it. Literally, we saw this wonderful scene of Adam staring at his own reflection in the mirror and really looking at himself and asking himself, is this the man that I have become? Have I become the sort of man who would kill his own father? I didn't want him to die. Or did I? Very good moment. Very good Mark Grossman moments this week. I couldn't help but notice, though, that during those scenes, Adam had opened up his cell phone, turned on the recorder, and was recording this very long diatribe that he was going off on. This long diatribe, which can also probably be interpreted as a confession, that's now sitting as a digital file in Adam's phone at the very time when he's probably going to get arrested, and the GSCP just so happens to have a brand new hacker tech guy on the staff. A brand new hacker tech guy who also has an axe to grind with Adam, by the way. Well, yeah, Adam thinks he's gonna leave town, but he ain't going nowhere. Ultimately, Adam he takes this journey through his past and into his future. After looking in the mirror, realizes that he's appalled by the person that he sees staring back at him, and he decides that Genoa City would just be better off without him. He tosses the keys to his condo to Phyllis, and he goes to visit Chelsea and tells her that he is leaving her to raise Connor on her own. Chelsea was so ticked off. Oh man, her son just got his father back after years of thinking that he was dead. And now she knows that it's going to be devastating to little Connor to have to lose Adam again. Connor idolizes Adam. All he wants is to be with Adam and to spend more time with him. And Chelsea says, you know what? If you're going to do this, then you're at least going to be man enough to tell Connor yourself that you're leaving. And I'm sure that Chelsea was thinking that maybe Adam having to face Connor would change his mind. I don't think Chelsea wants this outcome for either Adam or for Connor. I mean, I can't believe Adam went through with it. I thought that looking at Connor's face was immediately gonna have him change his mind. Hearing Connor begging for Adam to stay, assuming that he did something to drive him away, oh, it was heartbreaking. It almost would have been easier on the kid if Adam would have just disappeared and never come back. But now Adam's trying to explain something to a child that a child really can't understand. All Connor is going to have are these echoes of things that Adam has said, that Nick would make a better father for him, that Adam is too messed up. Your real dad's just too messed up for you. I mean, real heartwarming moment there. Thanks a lot, Y&R. You could literally see this little boy's heart breaking. And you could see forming the permanent emotional scar on this kid right before our very eyes. Ray arrested Victoria for Victor's murder, but Ray wholeheartedly believes that Adam planted that evidence against her. Ray wholeheartedly believes that Adam is the one who tried to or murdered Victor. And Sharon continues to put herself right in the middle of all this when she doesn't need to. She continues to argue Adam's case without any real evidence or anything. Just based on her blind faith in Adam. And Ray tells Sharon, you need to stop. You cannot convince Adam to change who he is. You don't have the power to do that. And so what does Sharon do? She runs to Adam and tries to convince him to change. And then, when that doesn't work, she goes back to Ray and says, you were right. I shouldn't have tried to convince Adam to change. Sharon, has it occurred to you that Adam doesn't want to change? Adam wants to be accepted by someone. All through that entire scene between Sharon and Adam at the condo, all Adam really wanted was to convince Sharon to say I love you and then move right on into that big empty condo with him so he can feel a little less lonely, so he can feel a little less worthless. He wants someone to validate him as a human being, as a viable human being, as not a piece of garbage, which is how everyone else sees him. I kind of wonder, though, are we closing the book on Sharon and Adam because she keeps insisting that that's the case, and yet she keeps going back to him? And I also wonder if we're gonna start moving toward an Adam and Chelsea reunion. I could almost see Chelsea being the one to move into Adam's condo with him. All week she was giving Adam lots of loving looks, and she was looking on as Adam and Connor were playing together, almost as if she was imagining the family that she could have had with the father of her child. And she is going to be so ticked off at Nick next week. We even saw a little preview of it at the end of Friday. When Chelsea finds out that Nick knew Victor was still alive and that this whole thing was a ruse to get at Adam, Chelsea is going to see Nick as having driven away Connor's father, and she's gonna be so mad at him. So mad. The only thing, though, is it's not as if Adam isn't responsible for his own actions and decisions. Adam had choices in here too. I think Adam could have certainly chosen to stay, to fight, to change. That's what Sharon was trying to convince him to do. And instead he chose to run away. That's on him. That part's on him. I mean, I guess if Connor couldn't convince him to stay, who could? Even Phyllis couldn't convince him to stay, to follow through with his original plan to take over Newman Enterprises, and failing that, maybe just stick around for a hug? All week, Summer is the only adult member of the Newman family, other than Adam, who doesn't know that Victor is alive. Victoria even said that she told Reed the truth. She couldn't bear to let him suffer after everything with JT. So Reed knows, but Summer couldn't be trusted with the truth. Summer couldn't be trusted to not tell Phyllis, who would tip off Adam. Blech. Yuck. That's so yucky. The entire rest of the family all week, including Victor, just stood back and watched Summer suffer. I felt worse for Summer than I felt for Adam, because Summer was an innocent bystander. She didn't do anything to anyone. She's just getting caught up in her own grief, and she's gonna be so hurt and so heartbroken when she finds out that she was excluded from the truth. I can't believe they even told Abby. I mean, they even let Abby in on the secret and didn't let Summer in because of her connection to Phyllis. Oh, poor Summer. I feel bad for Summer. She was really struggling this week to cope with the fact that Victor dropped dead in front of her. I mean, that would be hard to see. And he's also just this larger than life, huge, powerful, influential man, probably the biggest and the biggest and most influential figure in her life, and he's just gone now, and that's hard to come to terms with. I especially enjoyed seeing Jack's support of Summer. I really liked seeing that relationship focused on. Jack has always had a soft spot for Summer. At one point, he thought maybe that she was his daughter, and at another point, she was his daughter-in-law. So I think that's a very special relationship that I would like to continue to see cultivated. And I'm wondering how Jack's feelings about Victor are going to shake out when he finds out that Victor's really alive, because there's been a whole lot of change in Jack's attitude toward Victor. Suddenly there's a respect and an admiration there, and I'm kind of wondering if he is also going to be really ticked when he finds out that it was all a sham. I mean, maybe Jack, when he finds this out, maybe he is not going to be so content to just hand over the reins of Jabot and sit back and have a cup of tea and write a story with Tracy after he finds out what Victor has done now. It is so hard to see Dina looking so distant, just so absent, just almost as if you're seeing the body of the person that you once knew and loved, but the soul is somehow gone. Jack takes Dina to the park this week, and he really talks to her. It's no more based on just trying to care for her everyday needs. He's actually able to talk to her, even if she's not talking back, and he tells her all of these things that he's discovered about himself while he was away on his very short Sedona trip. And he offers her both his forgiveness, but he also asks for forgiveness from her, because he knows that he put a lot of his own stuff onto her, and he wanted to let her know that he's letting that go, and that he's going to remember all of the good things about her, that he really admires who she was, and that he loves her. And he really got a lot off his chest. It was a very honest, very natural conversation, and it's almost as if she really, really heard him for the first time in a long time. And Dina just wakes up and she has this complete moment of clarity. And she just looks at him and says, Jackie, I love you too. And she was so happy. You know, it was like she was looking so sad and so despondent through the entire conversation. And then in just one brief sunshine ray of a moment, the clouds just went away and she was just completely there. And she had this feeling of joy seeing a family member that maybe she feels like she hasn't seen in so long. But it was wonderful that she recognized him, and also that she gave him that gift of an I love you. That's something that he really needed right now. I didn't expect to cry because I have felt so exhausted by Dina's Alzheimer's story and by Jack's journey of self-discovery, but I really did cry. There was just something so beautiful about that full circle moment where, as an adult, and it's almost like something you can't get until you're further along on your journey, until you are an adult, until you've walked in some different shoes. But just, I thought it was beautiful, you know, the full circle moment of, as an adult, coming to the realization that your parents are not perfect, but that you still love them for who they are, or in Dina's case, who she was, you know? Oh, it was a real tearjerker. And then Jack comes home and he tells Tracy all about this meeting that he's just had with Dina, and about his epiphany that he decides he wants to write a book about the Abbott family. He wants to write something about their name and their legacy that means more than just something that will be found in an obituary or a newspaper headline someday. He wants to really dig into and represent and put out into the world who the Abbotts were. I mean, this is a name and a legacy that have come to mean so much to Jack specifically. So he wants to write a book, and he wants Tracy to help him do it. You know, I like the concept, but I also do kind of feel like, oh, we've spent 2 full years now picking apart the bones of the Abbott family legacy, and I am just not sure how much more story that we can feasibly get out of this. If that's even the plan, I don't know. Maybe this is just going to be a quickie thing? Why is it happening now? Does Peter Bergman have a book tie-in coming? Is the actor who plays Jack writing a book, and now this is going to tie into that and boost up some potential sales for his book? I'm just being skeptical, but it's an idea that occurred to me. Maybe that would explain it. Or maybe Y&R is going to fully follow this, you know, this writing of the book journey. Maybe we're going to see the tale of young John and young Dina in black and whites in a similar way that we saw Flynn and Velma when Tracy was writing her novel. The Grand Phoenix Hotel is not just for parties and drinks and dancing and getting secretly drugged. Oh no! The Grand Phoenix Hotel is also for getting it on. Let us not forget that it is a hotel with rooms for romping. And Kevin and Chloe were our first official couple to get their romp on in a room upstairs at our new hotel. I think that Kevin and Chloe should have gotten the room after Kevin got his job back at the GCPD, because that would have been a good reason to celebrate. Although, I do think that it was pretty funny to see Chloe celebrating her ability to use her real name again. I think that Elizabeth Heinrichsen is so funny, and she seems to have much better comedic timing even than the last time that she was on the show. Of course, then again, she didn't have a whole lot of opportunity for comedy. It was pretty dark with Chloe for a while, but I like that they've brought her back as light and quirky, and I just have fun seeing her on my screen along with Kevin. I think he's been really fun this week. I mean, the scenes in the room were funny. Kevin on the bed, like pointing at her, like, come and get me, baby. I mean, it was good. It had everything. It was just funny, and it was sweet, and it was romantic, and it was sexy. I liked it. Did you guys like it? What'd you think? What do you think of our new hotel room? We got our first glimpses of these deluxe accommodations. I have to say, I do think it definitely looked like a new modern hotel. I mean, it looked like a hotel room with the gray decor and that white wavy wall and the recessed lighting above the bed. It was nice. It seemed very fresh and very modern. I'm sure it smelled like fresh paint in there. And I'm sure that this was just the first of many, 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 many times that we'll be seeing these rooms probably rearranged a number of different ways to make it look like it's 2 or 3 rooms when we all know darn well that it's the same set. The second couple to officially get a room at the Grand Phoenix Hotel, it turned out a little differently. It wasn't quite as sexy and fun. I felt bad for Theo. He booked a room upstairs with Summer, which I think they were planning on doing the night of the drugging, so it wasn't totally out of left field. He books a room for he and Summer. He's got some champagne chilling off on the sideline. I think he was trying to pick up where they left off. You know, he was trying to pick up on the same note that they were on as when before her grandfather died. I mean, I don't think it was intended to be insensitive, but it totally did not fly. I mean, Summer walks into the room, sees the champagne chilling, and looks at him like, are you seriously gonna try to have sex with me right now? My grandfather just died. I am not in the mood for this, okay? The poor idiot. He's a poor idiot. I really don't think that he is trying to be insensitive. I think he is just insensitive. He's just Theo, you know? I mean, no matter how hard he tries, he's never gonna be Kyle. He's never gonna be as good as Kyle in Summer's mind. And he knows that. Theo knows that. Especially now. Kyle is being very sympathetic towards Summer. We are seeing a lot of scenes of them bonding. Kyle knew what it was like to be inside of Victor Newman's magic orbit, and so he can identify with what Summer is going through and her grief and her loss in a way that nobody else can. So what we have here is Summer and Kyle growing closer, bonding over Victor, and on the other hand, we have Theo starting to maybe develop some real reasons to be jealous of Kyle. That jealousy seed that was already there is just going to continue to grow. So it's odd and suspicious to me that Theo seemed to be trying to make some efforts and some inroads with Lola to get past everything that was going on with Kyle. I don't trust it. Hey, who would have thought Mr. Smootheroo Theo Theonstein would be afraid of a little bit of blood? Couldn't help but notice that Lola did not tell Kyle about that incident. Theo knows what he's doing. Theo paid a visit to Lola at the society kitchen while she was working this week, and he was there under the guise of trying to make amends. He told her that he wanted to apologize to her for the way he's treated her and Kyle, which is something that he really should have brought up with Kyle. But we also all know that Kyle wouldn't trust it. Kyle knows what Theo's like and what he's potentially up to. But it was funny because at the mere mention of Zoe, Lola accidentally sliced one of her fingers instead of the red peppers. And Theo took one look at the blood. He fainted. He fell to the floor, passed out. Was that adorable or what? I thought that both Theo and Lola were so cute and so funny in those scenes. Oh my gosh, Theo, you're passed out. Are you pregnant? That was funny. I laughed and smiled and I got some genuine joy out of that scene. I want more of it. And the way Lola was holding the knife toward him before he passed out, it was just all good. Those were good scenes. I like them both more and more. It seems like every single week Theo gets a new layer added to him. Last week it was talking about his father, and this week he's just talking about himself a little bit more. And honestly, these are not the layers that I was expecting or predicting that would be added to Theo's character, but they're layers nonetheless. And I think that that is a very good sign that they're developing this character. And I think this guy has got charm out the wazoo. He is all potential. Give him a contract. If I was calling the shots, I'd give him a contract. If half of acting is reacting, then I think that this actor is really talented. Just watch some of his reactions when he's on screen. Like the follow-up scenes with Mariah, too. Mariah dropped the bombshell on him that she knew he was hitting on Tessa, and he was just giving her looks. The look on Theo's face said, "Who, me? Well, I didn't mean to offend anyone. I didn't mean to offend Tessa. I'm just Theo being Theo." It's been so nice having Jill around, supporting Devon, saying that she believes that's what Katherine would want her to do. She's come a long way since being resentful over that music box journey. Now she just accepts what the original will said, and she wants to support Devon fully. She was supporting Billy, giving him encouragement, and she was practically weeping over Victor's death. I wanted to laugh so hard it hurt when Jill threw herself into Nikki's arms to give her all her sympathy. And then Jill started waxing sentimental about how magical Nikki and Victor's first wedding was, and how Victor wanted to make the whole thing so special for his stripper bride. It was so perfect. It was an insult wrapped in a compliment, and it was very Jill-esque. Fun, fun, fun. Yeah, Jill's been great. She told Devon that if this Amanda character gives him any trouble, then just send her this away and she'll take care of it. Devon needs somebody in his corner. I mean, Elena is so kind of boring in all of this. He needs some fierce support, something a little stronger than what Elena's given. I'm sorry, but Devon talks the whole thing through with Elena, tells her how much this lawyer looks like Hillary, and it didn't really even seem to faze Elena. She was just like, oh, that's weird. And then she had to follow up with Nate, and Nate confirms to Elena, oh yeah, girl, she really does look like Hillary. I mean, she could be her twin. You might want to start worrying because she looks exactly like Hillary. But still, even so, Elena's reaction was so mild. I guess that it's good that she doesn't feel threatened. She feels secure in her relationship with Devon, but I guess just because, it's just for drama, I wish that Elena would get her feathers ruffled just a little bit about it. I'd like to see some insecurity or some something coming from Elena. She barely batted an eye when Amanda showed up in the middle of her birthday party, brought the fun to a screeching halt. That was the first time that Mariah saw Amanda, freaked out, thought she was seeing Hillary. It ruined the whole party. Elena didn't even get to open her presents, didn't even get to eat any of her cake. I'd be ticked off and would be ready for revenge simply based on the fact that I didn't get to eat my own birthday cake. Rude. Devon is such a sweetie, though. He brought Elena home a cupcake for later from the party. He put a little candle in it, and he told her to make a wish. And Elena did. She blew out that candle, and she told Devon that her birthday wish was that this whole Amanda issue would just go away for him as soon as possible. Girl, you need to use that wish. You should have rethought it. Use that wish to make sure and wish that Amanda doesn't walk away with your man while someone else walks away with all his money. All week, Amanda was making phone calls to some mystery person, waiting to hear back from them so that they could move forward with their whatever, their plan. Amanda was claiming to Devon that she hadn't actually seen a copy of this will, but Chance, her client, was going to forward her a copy. Now, I would like to ask you, chatters, do you think that Chance really is the person behind Katherine's alternate will? That's our poll question for the week. If you want to buzz over to yrchat.com to vote. Do you really think it's Chance? Like, can we trust this? Is this a surface level, it's Chance off in the background thing? Or is there another twist coming down the pike on this one? Let me know. Cast your vote on that. I am thinking that it's very possible Y&R is just using Chance as an off-screen plot device yet again. And it's all really just about bringing this lawyer into town. I'm not sure if there is any more twist on who's behind this alt will thing. I think this whole thing might just very well be completely about Amanda and Devon. Not even really about the money at all. I mean, who knows? That could go away in a couple of weeks. But you tell me if you think maybe someone else is really behind it. Next week appears to be the reading of the will, because in the previews, Amanda is reading the cliffhanger line about who is supposed to inherit the bulk of Katherine's estate to the tune of $2 billion. Couldn't help but notice that Chance wasn't sitting in that crowd, but we did see another familiar face sitting in that crowd. Kane Ashby. What was he doing there? What was Kane doing there, huh? Mr. Kane has no storyline right now. What was Kane doing there? Sweet, innocent, do-gooder, social worker, lover of older women, Kane Ashby. What was he doing there? Surely, no one expects us to believe that Katherine Chancellor would have left $2 billion, the entirety of her monetary estate, the entirety of her life's net worth. No one expects us to believe that she would leave that much money to not to an actual family member, oh no, but to the man who came into her life and into Jill's life pretending to be a chancellor? Why, I don't know whether to cry or throw up. That was our Who Said It quote from last week, and the answer, my friends, is Phyllis. Phyllis did not know whether to cry or throw up when she was talking to Billy during that nightmare sequence. Quite a few of you guys guessed that it was Phyllis. Keisha, Sherry, Henry, Jillian, Tina Cole, TB84, Ambreen, Martha, Sharita, Jamie, and Diana. You guys all guessed it. Here's another fun little quote for the week. You're a real big marshmallow. You're a real big marshmallow. Who said it? YRChat.com is where you can leave your guess if you know. You can also let me know how you feel about marshmallows. I think they're very divisive. Is that a word? Yes. Some people like marshmallows a lot. Some people do not like marshmallows. I like marshmallows. I think they're good, especially melted on a s'mores. Sounds so good. Well, go to yrchat.com if you know who said you're a real big marshmallow. And if you get it right, I'll give you your shout out on next week's Y&R Chat. Well, dipping back into the website here, I asked you guys last week if you were feeling a yay or a nay that Michelle Morgan was coming back onto the show as a Hillary twin. 79% of you said nay, I don't love it. Wow, I voted yay. 21 with the 21% of you. I am so surprised. That was a very highly voted in poll. Michelle Morgan played a character in Hillary who was a highly controversial one on the show. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I think people either loved her or hated her. I am preparing myself for all of the negativity that comes with this character and this actress. I don't know why it is. I quite like her, and I was surprised that the poll results were so strongly against her when all of the comments that I saw were positive. Astra says, I voted yes, a yay, for Michelle Morgan because despite me not caring for Hillary too much, I like the actress and look forward to seeing what she brings to this role. I really feel like Devon is alive again, interacting with Amanda after being in a deep sleep for months. Even though I wasn't a big fan of the Hillary and Devon romance, I look forward to the love-hate sexual tension between Amanda and Devon. Oh, this is interesting, Astra. I should have emphasized that more, that you feel like Devon is alive again after interacting with Amanda and after being in a deep sleep for months. Well, I think that is the chemistry between the two actors. That's just my opinion anyway. I think they work very well together, and I agree with you. TB84 also voted yes, says that that she missed the actress. I probably would like rather to see her as Hillary than another character. I wish they wouldn't have killed her off, or if somehow she could come back from the dead miraculously. Well, one thing that it is sort of being floated out there, TB84, is from Devon, is that Amanda is in on it. That she's not just an on the surface lawyer. That somehow she knew she was a Hillary twin and she is trying to take advantage of that. So there's certainly a lot of suspicion around this new Amanda character, and I almost kind of wonder if there's any chance that what you said will be true, that they are bringing her back as Hillary. Is there any chance that this is Hillary? Are they going to do something like Hillary faked her own death, or she hit her head, or blah blah, somebody else brought her back, or is it truly a fresh start for a fresh character with Amanda, or are we going to have a twist on the road and find out that this really is Hillary all along? Mary Ann voted yes. If the attorney was not played by Michelle Morgan, then this would just be another what if alternative history story, like John might not be Jack's father, Adam killed Constance as reported in a diary, or one of the other fake diary or journal stories. Now, hopefully Amanda will be a well-written character to justify Michelle Morgan's acting talent. Amanda could be a character who lasts less than a year, or a character who could make viewers like Amanda better than Hillary. The actress has an interesting interview on Dishing with Digest, the Soap Opera Digest podcast. She talks about being a longtime fan of the show from childhood. Oh, I think that's wonderful. Yeah, I get that from her. I kind of do get a sense from her that she loves her job, loves the show. And I think you make a good point that there is an opportunity here that maybe the character of Amanda, if that's what they're sticking with, will be written in such a way that the fans respond to Amanda better than they responded to Hillary. Maybe this will be a turning point for how the majority of fans apparently see this character and who plays her. Oh, well, Daisy says, a lawyer just showing up with a document seems like a con job, and she and all the documents need to be verified and addressed in court. Also, I can't imagine that anyone with Devon's money would allow some lawyer access to him. This should all be going through his lawyers and in court, not in Devon's home. The burden of proof is on Chance, though, not Devon. Oh, yes. See, this is so true. It's weird that it's not taking place in a court. See, I thought that was so weird that we saw the preview for Monday where they're reading this new will in Devon's home as if it's just going to be accepted to be the case. I mean, we saw Brittany sitting there next to Devon as his attorney. I can't imagine that she's just going to grab this new will and go, yeah, looks legit. And then Devon has to fork over $2 billion. So I'm not sure. This is a little bit farcical, shall we say. But yeah, I mean, the burden of proof for sure should be on Chance, who's not even present. Sharita says, am I the only one who feels like Jill is somehow behind the Amanda Sinclair lawyer? Is it a possibility that Colin left Jill bankrupt again and she's just using this scheme to get back afloat? Or could it be Colin behind this whole situation since he's a bit of a con artist? I just don't think it's really Chance. I love Amanda Sinclair though. She's giving me beginning Hillary vibes. Poor Elena doesn't stand a chance. Yeah. Would it be Jill? Gosh, she's playing a really good, she's really throwing me off the scent if she is behind this. She made a comment about being okay with money, but of course that could be a lie. Colin certainly is most definitely a con artist. I think Tristan Rogers, he doesn't seem to be working right now, does he? Has anybody heard anything from the actor who played Colin, Tristan Rogers? Is he on General Hospital right now? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know if they'd be doing a twist around him, but it'll be interesting not only to see our poll results for the week, to see if you guys are buying the on the surface thing that it's Chance, or if you think that it's someone else, and if so, who? Oh boy, yeah, see, if it was Jill, she sure would have waited a long time to try to enact this plan, but a lot of these storylines, frankly, don't make a lot of sense, so it could be anything. Sharita also says, I felt a hint of a spark between Theo and Lola. I actually wouldn't mind if Lola and Theo had an affair, and then finally Summer and Kyle can reunite. Oh my goodness, can you even imagine how far? Well, I cannot see Lola hooking up with Theo though. I could see her being okay with him and maybe encouraging Kyle to be friends with him, but I cannot see her hooking up with him. They are so different. It would be unexpected. It would be real unexpected. But I mean, as far as chemistry, yeah, I thought they had some good little scenes. Those were fun. Hey, Superplex asks, What happened to the broken leg, Billy? Did he even have a set of crutches, you guys? Did he even have crutches or anything? Did they show a leg splint? I didn't notice it. Superplex, that is a great question, a great observation. Are you kidding me? He was stuck in the boathouse bed for, presumably at least a week. And now he's just up and walking around. And that's the other thing. I think Y&R did a pretty good job of giving us that single episode, focusing on Billy and his inner torment and everything. And for as deep of a dive as they did on his character, it feels like they're washing their hands of it now. It's just, boop, back to normal. We'll give him a therapy session, and then that's it. If they were going to go so deep and so hard into the depths of Billy's psyche, they really needed to follow it up with something substantial. That's what I would think anyway. Gary says, even though I'm not a fan of Adam's, I am happy and welcome seeing him get the better of those Newmans with their stupid fake death story and not show up for Victor's funeral, which I guess they had all their eggs in one basket, that this was going to have some big payoff for them. Now their star guest will be a no-show, and it's all for naught. Yeah, I know, it's kind of, it was sinister and weird, the way they were all just plotting all week to trap Adam, as if it had some really clear and obvious end goal. That's my problem with it. If they were trying to get him to confess and then send him to prison, that I could get. That makes sense. It's a linear thing. But it seemed all jumbled and mixed up. Like they were trying to justify what they were doing as helping Adam. And that doesn't make any sense to me. Like they were trying to bring him back to the light by showing him the error of his ways. That doesn't really work. Yeah, so that part doesn't make sense. And I agree with you, Gary, that it was good to see Adam figure it out for himself, but I'm disappointed that they didn't go through with this funeral that was mentioned in order to do that big reveal. I mean, couldn't Adam have shown up at the funeral knowing that Victor was still alive, and then they try to like let the Newmans think for a minute that they have won and they have tricked him, and then let Adam spin it and tell them that he already knew? It just seems a little not only confusing plot-wise, but also anticlimactic. Like, I can make a leap on the plot and I can make a leap on logic if it gives this amazing dramatic moment, which is what I thought the funeral was going to be, and we really didn't get either. Now I feel a little let down on the plot and my understanding of the motivation of the characters, and I also didn't get like the big dramatic reveal that I was hoping for. I don't know, I'm disappointed. Daisy says it looks like the pharmacist, Suzanne Fuller, was trying to leave, but she was found by Paul's team, and even though it wasn't said, Paul alluded to Suzanne confessing to her lie about Victoria. So maybe part of Adam's sudden departure was not fully his sadness about what he did to his father. Maybe Adam discovered the pharmacist confessed to what they did to Victor and how they set up Victoria, and Adam was leaving to be one step ahead of the law. Yes, Daisy. I was thinking that too. When he started packing his bags, I thought, well, what's your hurry to leave town? What's your hurry to abandon your son, who you're just trying to reconnect with? I mean, I could see all other things being equal. I could see wanting to leave everybody else in Genoa City, but to leave Connor feels so extreme. So I think you're right that he either just felt so awful about himself and just felt like such a toxic presence that he didn't even want to do that to his son, or he knew that he was about to get caught. In fact, when he got that text message from Suzanne, I didn't even realize that was her name, the pharmacist, we don't know who that text message is from though technically, but that's what I was assuming, was that the pharmacist, he was somehow got tipped off maybe by someone on the inside of the police force that she got arrested or that she had squealed. I thought he was going to get arrested. I thought somebody was telling him, look out, the cops are coming after you. But apparently someone just tipped him off about the death. But I think you're right. That had to have been in the back of his mind, that he would also need to be running potentially from the law. Jamie says, hey, I know, let's put Connor through the death of another loved one, only to try to bring him back to life. This kid is going to be screwed up on what death means. It's like, Lord help him when someone finally dies and stays dead. They so could have had Adam without the fake death. Yeah, Jamie, that's the thing. They could have had him without the fake death. Immediately, once Victor realized that his pills were switched, and once Nate realized that his tablet had been stolen, they could have taken that info to the police immediately, and they could have gotten Adam arrested. Why didn't they do that? Is it that they didn't want Adam arrested? They just wanted to teach him a lesson? In which case, it didn't really work. He's not really learning anything. It doesn't make sense. It's awful. It's kind of awful. It kind of had potential to be great, and it's instead kind of awful. Shakona says, Connor melts my heart every time. He reminds me of Cassie. I hope that his stay on the show has longevity like Cassie and Mariah. I know, little Connor is so cute, isn't he? He really is an adorable kid, and my heart was breaking for him. Sharita says, I loved Adam's flashbacks. They made me feel like he was sincere about Christian needing to know the truth. Because at one point, you could see how much he truly liked and admired Victor. Maybe things would have been different if he had known when he was younger. But it really caused Adam so much pain not feeling like Victor's family, like not feeling like Victor's first family didn't think that he was worth fighting for with hope. On top of feeling unwanted by Victor, the devastation of the best people that you know, Hope and his stepdad lying to him for years, it had to shake Adam's world. I would imagine it's hard to reconcile the love for his mother with her years of massive lying, and I don't think that that issue was ever really addressed. Yeah, I do remember Hope on her deathbed telling Adam that Victor was his father, and there was never really a great reason for it. The only thing I can say is I think it was similar to the reasons that Adam was trying to leave this week. I think that the original idea between of Victor not raising Adam was that Victor and his world and all of his junk was so toxic that it just wasn't good for the boy. So we just better let him live a simple life, the right life, you know, with Cliff and Hope. And I think that was the original idea. And I mean, it's an interesting tie-in that that's sort of what Adam's trying to do now, that he is, again, repeating the mistake of the past, assuming that removing himself from his son's life is the better path for the child. So he's repeating those mistakes instead of trying to be better than them. Adam is so dramatic. Every week, week after week, he's so dramatic. I don't know who would have energy to date him. I mean, I don't know whether to feel bad for him or to want to make love to him. It's very difficult. All in one moment, it's like his sad eyes and his sex eyes are just all rolled up into one. But it's just so dramatic. You can't have the sex eyes without the sad eyes. Can we just get the sex eyes for a little bit or something? Because the sad eyes are overwhelming. I mean, who has the energy to take on anybody else's sadness, especially when it's a deep, deep sadness like that? Oh, I don't know. Well, Diana says, I wish that Y&R would show the things that they talk about or mention to other characters. For example, when Summer was telling Kyle all about all of the emails and the cards that she received from people expressing how much Victor meant to them and how he inspired them to do great things, it would be nice to actually see Summer open up an email and read it, or show her looking at all the cards and showing the words written in them. Yeah, you know what, Diana? It's funny that you mentioned that because I was thinking that too, and I was connecting it in with Neil's death. And that was one of the things that I thought Y&R did really well, was we saw a scene where on the the Ashby family kitchen table, there was a little display of all the cards that were sent in and some flowers that were sent in from the community. And you know, it wasn't just from our regular Genoa City folk that we know. I think the card was from a foundation or, you know, a family that we had never heard of. I thought that did a really nice job of extending the grief of Neil's passing beyond the immediate world of Genoa City and gave us a sense of this character existing in the larger world. And this would have been a good opportunity to do that with Victor, and as Summer mentioned, but they did not do that. Speaking of Kristoff, Ellen says it was touching to see Kristoff included in the memoriam montage during the Primetime Emmy Awards program. It caught me by surprise, as I don't recall many daytime stars being included in the past. It was so good to see him honored. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't watch the Emmys, and I didn't realize that they did that, but that's wonderful because Kristoff was an Emmy winner, so it's wonderful that they did include him in that. I mean, and famous. Famous. So I'm glad to hear that they gave him some honor at the Emmy Awards also. Oh, Kyle says, hey, Beth Maitland was added to the credits today. On Instagram, a commenter asked, does this mean a contract? And she answered, nope, but glad to be around more. Oh, I can almost hear her saying that. I noticed that Tracy was added to the opening credits, Beth Maitland, and she looked very good. I mean, it's a very, very good photo picture video of her. I enjoyed that very much, but I think this also maybe brings to a close our official ability to speculate anything about contracts from those opening credits, because she got one and also confirmed that it's not a contract, she's just there. So yeah, I guess we gotta quit trying to read more meaning into the opening credits, but we're conditioned to. Those are some important opening credits. They're famous. Well, finally, an event note here. Diana says, all aboard! Allie, I thought I would mention this on the chat in case there's any chance you want to come to Ontario, Canada, or any Canadian chatters. Looks like Eric Braden is coming here again. This time on a train ride. How cool is that? To ride on a train with Victor. It says you can personally meet him, and so I thought I would post this just in case anyone's interested. Allie, I know you mentioned that you would have gone to see him in Niagara Falls. He will be in Uxbridge, Ontario. Looks like this event is scheduled for November 3rd. How great would that be? I have to tell you, I love trains. I've taken a few not long train rides, but I've taken a few train rides in my time, and it is just such a wonderful, relaxing experience. I love the whole vibe of being on a train. I love being able to relax and kick back and not be responsible for the traffic or anything, and just looking out the window and watching the landscape and the things change the further along that you go. It's just beautiful. Train travel is just so wonderful, and I can't imagine how crazy would that be, being on a train with Eric Braden. Oh, well, I googled it. Uxbridge, Ontario would only be a 9-hour drive for me. I don't know if I could swing it, but gosh, that really does sound wonderful. Are you gonna go, Diana? If so, we need some photos. But that's a nice little heads up for any of our Canadian viewers, fans of Y&R. Go ride the train with Victor Newman. Choo choo. Okay, well, I think I am ready to ride this train into the station for the week. Thank you, everybody, for all of your good get well wishes for me. I am feeling a little bit better. I had a breakthrough the night before last. I woke up and I was lying on my injured side. And I think that's a good sign because ever since I did it, ever since I fell and hurt my ribs, I talked about it last week, I've only been able to sleep on my back. And it's very uncomfortable. But I just woke up out of my sleep and I was on that side and it wasn't in horrible pain. So I think that's progress. I also am almost able to blow my nose now. I can get out a little bit of a that's all of the things you don't think that you use your ribs for, you then discover. And like I'm constantly blowing my nose and I can't do it, but I'm getting to be able to do that. And Lord help me when I have to sneeze. It's the worst. It's so horrifyingly painful, a sneeze. I can't fully sneeze. I can sn. This is how I blow my nose. Sn. Just for now though, but I really do feel like I'm getting better. I know I'm still keeping it a little bit light probably for Y&R Chat. I'm not as big and exuberant as I normally am, but I am healing. And there's lots of good signs around that. So I know that I will be back and fully on the mend soon. Hopefully you still enjoyed Y&R Chat this week, and hopefully you still come on back to the website and leave me some comments about the week as you're watching or the week as it has passed. I always love hearing from you. It's yrchat.com. Or come back to wherever you are listening to or watching this next week, and we'll have another chat together about the show. Okay, you guys, I love you so much. Hope you have a wonderful week.